welcome to Knobcat Games Dungeons of the Obelisk podcast. I'm your host, Joe Sleppy. I'm Executive Prime at Knobcat Games, and this podcast is our audio devlog where we get together every 2 weeks and we talk about the progress of our game, Dungeons of the Obelisk, which is a 2D turn-based dungeon crawling loot grinding adventure. And I'm joined today by our art lord, Ben Segas.
Hello.
Our animancer, Nyka.
Hello.
And our digital alchemist, TJ Yadacernia.
Hello.
How's it going, guys? Good holiday. We finally made it through.
Yeah.
Back to...
We survived.
Survived.
Glad to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to it. You know, we really didn't take too much time off for the holidays. We really got a lot done, like in December, I guess. A lot to talk about today on our list. First thing, I guess, is our companions are now animated in game. and they follow you around, which I think is incredible. It's so good. Like whenever I got my first companion in the game while I was playtesting and saw it following me, I couldn't handle it.
And honestly, any game that lets me have like a companion or like a little animal friend like is already exciting. So I'm really looking forward to like walking around in the game with whatever companions I manage to find.
Yeah, the way you made them like lag behind and then like come running is really good, TJ.
Yeah, I was really messing around with the delay. I'm thinking like, how long should it sit there? Should it follow you immediately? Should it stay a few feet back? How many seconds does it take? I think it kind of settled on, it's like half a second before it starts following you. I like how they were set up with the hurt and the death animations, because then they really start to mimic you just at all times. Like you get hurt, they get hurt. You die, they die. You walk, they walk. They're just really like a true companion. They really mimic you.
Yeah, it's really good.
See, I just immediately went to the idea of the companion mimicking you to the point of wearing the same armor and stuff, but that's way way too much.
You don't want to have to draw all of that companion armor, do you?
No, especially not for a frog. I don't know how it would wear pants.
Yeah, true.
Isn't that like a meme debate on like how animals would wear pants?
Yeah.
For like centaurs and stuff, I guess. That's how it is?
Yeah, would they wear jeans like this or like this?
You also animated the Fribbit, which kind of mirrors the frog, the Mr. Donut companion, but seeing those enemies animated now is really good too. I think that leaves us just one more mob for you to animate, and you're done animating mobs for a little while.
I believe so, yeah. I think it's just Snappington, right?
Yeah, Snappington, and that's it.
Nice. It's gonna be different, like not working on like the monster of the week. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like, I hadn't actually checked out the latest build, so I hadn't really seen all the breach and like all the enemies in the breach moving around until we were like testing it earlier. And I always say this on this podcast, but it's so cool just to see things like moving around in game and seeing it all come together. Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, seeing how like everything pulling together, it's so cool having planned this for so long, you know, from a design document to now it's getting very close to finished. You know, not close to launch yet because we still have a lot of back-end stuff and things to clean up, but as far as it being like a playable prototype game, like it's all there and it's all come together like so well. Like I'm so happy with all the progress and stuff, and that my ideas didn't fall apart in practice.
I mean, I think that just speaks to how solid your initial design document was, and that was something that really like positively caught me off guard when you first were talking about this game. I was like, wow, you really have this mapped out. You really know where you want to go with it. And so it's exciting to see that all kind of come to fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I guess for the listener, we kind of had our state of Knobcat meeting where we talked about our budget and how much time we have left and what our plans are. And none of those details I think are public yet, but I think the reason that we are in the place that we are is because we started with a solid design document and stuck to it, and didn't change or add a lot of things along the way to, slow us down.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I think in the last few years of professional video game AAA stuff, you see a lot of times where a producer or a new director will come in and they'll be like, let's just add more features, and then you get games that are just kind of a glitchy mess because they didn't really plan it out or it became something completely different. So I think if anything, our game definitely has that consistency of vision from day one. It's pretty much been what we set out to do, and that's really exciting.
The amount of detail in that design doc definitely surprised me, because joining on, I had made some design docs myself before, definitely not to that level of detail, and to be able to follow along it so perfectly, we haven't really strayed from it, which is good, because that's where issues start to come in, where you start to toss in features that never were planned or never existed. The next thing you know, they break in all kinds of different ways, but we've been able to avoid that so far.
Yeah, your other design documents weren't 70 pages?
No. Maybe 3 is a topper in there.
I was gonna say, right now, my design document for little games I want to do this year is a text document with 1 line of text per game idea. It's make a game that's like this, make a game that's like that, try to do this.
I think the only thing that we added that wasn't really in the initial design doc was the Paragon system with the rune stones. Originally the Paragon system was just 1 assignable point for each level, and then we added in the rune stones where you got 1 to 6 and got to roll the stones and stuff. But other than that, I think pretty much everything else is in there in some way, shape, or form.
Guess that just goes to show how good you are at planning.
Yeah, that is my thing, I guess. I mentioned the runestones. I guess we can jump to that art section of the podcast notes. You did all the art for the runestones, and they look really cool. You took my original sketch on a post-it note or whatever of the runes, and the idea was you get 1 through 6 points, so each rune is made up of 1 through 6 lines, and you took those little lines and made them actually look awesome.
And that again, I think was just because you're really good at that kind of planning out the design of or the concept around the design, I guess, and then I feel like I did very little to that. I just kind of made it look a bit fancy.
I don't know. I think it's definitely a team effort.
Well, yeah.
Could you imagine a game with my original sketches? I guess maybe people have stick figure games and stuff, but I don't know.
I've been seeing some really interesting games recently. I don't know. I just, not to veer too off course, but I've been watching some videos about these kind of DIY games and people using photographs of clay models and stuff that they brought into the game and animated that way and stuff. It's the amount of it's so cool seeing what people can do once they know how to build the game, I guess. I don't know. It's
people come up with some real crazy ideas. No, I'm claymation is mind-blowing. I feel that's did you ever see the Parks and Rec where he has the 10-second claymation thing, and he's like, could a depressed person make this?
Oh yeah.
I felt so called out by that episode. I was like, everything I make, yes. I wanted him to finish it though. I wanted to watch that movie. Don't let us see it, sadly.
No, I feel like claymation stuff would be horrible to make. Like, even I don't have the patience for that. That would be awful.
And you'd have to like make sure that your artist and your animator are either really working close together or are just the same person at that point. Because like you have to like take each frame with the clay. Oh, it would get crazy.
Next up on our list for things you've drawn in the past couple weeks, Ben, new facial hairs and clothing for NPCs.
Yeah.
I think that it looks really cool having the people in the town have those, different clothes instead of wearing armor and stuff. They have townsfolk clothing.
I tried to kind of capture like just kind of casual townsfolk clothing, but like give it a little bit of style to it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, uniqueness.
Yeah, like it's not just the typical townsfolk like basically wearing sacks kind of thing.
No, the town I think is prospering off of the back of the increased traffic from that the obelisk has created. The shops are doing well, the blacksmith is doing well. All the economy of Topia I think is doing pretty good. They're not like suffering off of the obelisk, I don't think. Other than the occasional like glub coming out of your toilet and stuff, but
it's a nice beneficial obelisk.
I do like the results of the added facial hairs, because it's like for the longest time just seeing the same beard. If you want a beard, there's only one option.
Yeah.
But now that there's an expanded list, it looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, I tried to capture at least some common facial hair, so hopefully everybody can find a choice they like.
Yeah, I think the facial hairs, what do we have, 6 options now for facial hair?
Yeah.
Not counting just clean shaven. So I think that's a pretty good selection for that. I kind of think we're gonna have to do some more hairstyles though. I don't want to be adding stuff at this point, but if we have time, I think that's the top of the low priority list is some new hairstyles.
Yeah, I mean there's so many to choose from, so I'm sure there's always room for more.
Yeah, I think you could have like 100 hairstyles and there'd be somebody that's missing out, but
definitely could.
Yeah, I really like the ones we have so far, but just a couple more I think we'll flesh it out, but like I said, we'll get there. Speaking of fleshing things out, you've drawn all of the missing UI elements now. So things like the mouse cursor and buttons and our turn meter, things like that, little indicators and arrows and things for stuff. It's all of your like little demo images are really good. Like I was disappointed they weren't in the new build yet.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because especially with a lot of the UI stuff is like it only really makes sense once it's in context. So like I needed to see it in context to make sure it would look or like follow the look of the rest of the game basically. So like I just wanted to show it in context with the previews so like we could kind of fine-tune it if needed, if it didn't fit in quite right, which I mean we did with a couple little things here and there, but yeah, for the most part it came together pretty easily, thankfully. I'm really eager to see it in the game.
Yeah, I think the turn meter is such a unique thing for our game that we came up with, and I think finally having the actual UI elements to it and kind of a standardized icons for the mobs in it and stuff. I think it's going to look so good when it's in game. I think TJ's probably got a lot of work ahead of him getting all these things into the game now, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of UI to go through, and especially with the custom buttons, because there's buttons all over the place in the game, so just gotta go through, hope I get every single one, and from there, you'll point out which ones I missed.
Yeah.
At least adding the curse is easy. It's just a single button.
Yeah, I think that's going to look so good. I know we spend a lot of time on this podcast just talking about how good things look in a audio format of a show, but once all of the UI elements are in game, which will be, it might not be for another month or so, but once that's in and we have a good build with those elements in, then I'll do another video and everybody will get to see that stuff. TJ, you've just been working on a lot of it feels like we're down to a lot of small things now. It's not like, hey, we added a new game mode this time. We're down to a lot of nitty gritty little things and just stuff like formatting numbers and talking about how much gold we expect a player to possibly have if the number is going to be big enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of small stuff that has been worked on for the past, I guess, month. There's a whole lot of UI work, like the number thing. I was actually trying to look at some of it. I think I was looking at playtime as one of the things, because you don't want a player to play for so long that the number can't handle it anymore. Because the number is not saved as a date, it ends up getting saved as a time in seconds. So I ended up finding out that 1 billion seconds is a very long time. But kind of getting all that stuff working was adding on to the small details to really make the game just look and feel a lot better.
Oh yeah, 1 billion seconds is 31 and a half years.
Yep.
That ought to cover it, huh?
So I don't think a player will reach 1 billion seconds. I'd be amazed if they do.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if we keep updating and building the game for a while. Yeah, so I can't remember what we decided on gold. Is the gold counter going to be able to handle, 4 years of collecting gold?
As it stands, it goes up to, I think, 2 billion, which it would have to go higher for it to not break. You might have to run the numbers again.
I feel like you can get into the millions of gold pretty easy. I'm not sure how much a 2 billion is, though. I think
after looking at numbers, it kind of ended up with an estimate of a player realistically shouldn't reach 1 billion. The only thing is that if they do, what ends up happening, because if they reach the number and then go past it, it breaks. It just goes, instead of going up, it turns into a negative number.
Oh. Can we just have it say sorry, you can't carry any more gold at 2 billion or something?
Yeah, so that's the other option, is you either have it so it goes past 2 billion, or you set it so that if you try to, it just says it can't go any higher. It is going to stay at 2 billion.
Maybe Illusion can pop up and say hey, go spend some of your money. I think by the time someone can get to that much money, I think we'll have added things in the game that cost a lot of money as well. So
give the player a house, and the more gold you have, the fancier it looks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I know we'll have guild halls eventually. You can maybe contribute to your guild and stuff too.
Just a variety of different methods to get players to spend their stockpile.
You also added loot table functionality, so now we can tell what items drop where, which right now it's pretty much just the dungeons in the breach, but going forward that'll be very helpful if somebody's looking for specific things.
Yeah, that one's actually relatively big feature, because originally if you looked at loot, it was an actual item. You earned that item and you could equip it, but for the first time it's converting an item from that into an example of what you could have. So if you were to look at a legendary item, it'll say it does these attacks, it has these certain bonuses attached to it, it'll drop at this level relative to the dungeon, or even just like what is the special effect of the legendary item. Like this item gives bonus dodge chance that you might not get otherwise. So there's definitely a lot behind actually setting that up, but it's a very nice feature, and it helps the shop as well, because the shop also uses the same items.
Yeah, being able to see the items in the shop that way is really nice. It makes it feel more real, I guess. Like you can actually see the item and what it has, instead of just seeing like the name of the item or something like that, like we had as our placeholder before.
I feel like it especially helps when you are looking at weapons, because now you don't have to play the guessing game of what is this weapon going to do, what kind of attack does it have, what kind of weapon is it. Now you can actually look at the weapon, see it has these attacks, it'll do these certain effects.
Yeah, is that also going to, I know this is on the list, does it tie in where, how to explain it, right now whenever you look at an item in your inventory and it shows you the damage like on a weapon, I guess it's specific to weapons. So whenever you look at a weapon in your inventory, it shows you the damage based on the items that you have equipped, not on not the damage that you would see that you would have if you equip that weapon, if that makes sense. So I think that's something that we've been like talking about now. So now that you have like the functionality for blank items, does that tie into that, or is that a different problem?
It's definitely very similar to it. I gotta look at it more, because when it comes to a item that you own, getting it to consider the change in potential strength from the other one shouldn't be too bad. I'm not sure what to do with the blank items, because for now I have them using the base damage relative to their level, which makes their damage look a lot lower. Because like a level 10 weapon does, you might see like 15 damage, but in actuality it's in the hundreds.
I see, yeah.
But anything in your inventory, it shouldn't be too bad now to get it to consider the change that would happen if it were to be equipped.
Yeah, because that'll be a good one, because it makes it hard to right now to compare items, because you can have like say your weapon has a bunch of strength on it and you're looking at an item that doesn't have strength on it, that item will show more damage than you'll actually have when you equip it, because you lose your strength when you equip it. So it's a little bit of just a weird problem right now that makes it hard for players to consider what items to use.
Yeah, it would definitely allow you to better choose how to set up your build once a feature like that's in place, because you no longer have to play that guessing game with your loot. Will it actually be stronger, or are you making a mistake putting it on?
Yeah, I mean, there's still an aspect of like you have to learn the system and decide how much of each stat you need, but I think will help people in doing that. You also added tracking for some statistics, and I don't know if we're going to add more or not, but right now it tracks like playtime and deaths and enemies killed and dungeons cleared. So I think it's a pretty cool thing to see, especially for play testing, because you can look and tell exactly how long you've been playing and what you've been doing.
Yeah, I feel like they're small things, and they end up, not only are they helpful for a player that's curious, like, oh, how well am I doing? Can I brag to other people about my kills or something? But in terms of playtesting, it gives you an idea, like, it takes this amount of time to beat these many dungeons to reach this level. So when it comes to just the numbers of what it takes to accomplish tasks, those stats start to become really helpful. Looking at my stats aren't looking too good. I completed 4 dungeons.
The other thing too is we changed the terminology of stats to be called traits. So instead of like your 4 major stats, we call them 4 major traits now. Major traits, minor traits, non-combat traits. I think it fits better in like the terminology of the game, because stats is kind of an abbreviation for statistics, and I've had that no abbreviations thing going for a while, but I think traits feels better, even though people will probably still call them stats.
I personally still call them stats. If I write anything down, I'll type out the word stats.
I think I do too, but I think the game calling them by like proper names that make sense feels better. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely more fitting, the term traits instead of stats. I question if I actually changed them all. I feel like there's something lingering where it still says stats over traits.
I'll have to take a look. I felt like you got most of them for sure. But yeah, that's everything on our change log, our list for now. So I think I'm gonna wrap up this podcast. I'm not doing another extended episode like the last one that we did, where it was like it was close to an hour of recording time, and I think it ended up being 45 or 50 minutes once I edited it down. That was too much for me, so I'm gonna cut it here at a half an hour. You know, everybody that has been listening to this, thank you so much for listening to the end. Appreciate your interest in our game. If you've made it this far and you're not in our Discord, be sure to go to knobcat.com, find the link to the Discord, join us there, talk to us, ask us any questions that you might have. We also have the Twitter and the Instagram, which are both at Dungeons Obelisk. And I think last episode we were talking about how we were close to 1,000 followers on there, and now we finally hit it. So that's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, no, we're about 30 or 40 people above 1,000 at this point. It's exciting.
Hell yeah!
And the last few things I posted each got like over 15 or 20 likes each, and I was like, whoa, what? Like it seems like people are actually interacting, which is cool.
Yeah, it's exciting to be growing that. I know right now it's sort of hard to like be super interested or like follow a game that isn't out yet, but hopefully those likes and things translate to people that actually want to play. But
for sure.
But yeah, be sure to visit knobcat.com, follow our Instagram, and I think we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
See you.